Since the other side is obsessed with cancel culture, I wonder how things are going to work out when the genders are reversed. And in this case, there is a very clear taped confession. I'll let you make up your own mind as to whether or not you want to sign this, but I think this rather toxic woman needs to be called out. There is renewed vigor in the demand for the recall of Amber Heard from the Aquaman sequel in light of new information regarding abuse during her relationship with actor Johnny Depp. A Change.org petition by Jeannie Lawson, remove Amber Heard from Aquaman 2, standing currently at around 96,000 signees, is nearing 100,000 signatures. 154,000 at the time of making this video, and probably much more by the time it gets published. The petition is aimed at Senior Vice President of Publicity and Communications for DC Warner Brothers, Courtney Simmons, and Paul McGuire, Corporate Communications of DC Entertainment. So let's see what the petition says. Amber Heard has been exposed as a domestic abuser by Johnny Depp. In his $150 million lawsuit, Johnny Depp describes many instances of domestic abuse that he suffered at the hands of his then-wife Amber Heard, including one incident where she punched him twice in the face, and another where she shattered his finger with a vodka bottle, and his finger had to be surgically reattached. He will bear the scar from that the rest of his life. She sounds like a lovely person. Larson also notes a 2009 incident of abuse to a previous domestic partner Heard was arrested for. It seems we have a pattern of psychotic behavior here. Remarking Heard's repeated pattern, she added, Heard has systematically crusaded to ruin Depp in Hollywood and fabricated stories that he hit her and cut off his own finger. This kind of thing seems to happen a lot these days. Other allegations include giving him MRSA 3 times, that's a bacterial infection for anybody that's wondering, withholding medicine, and defecating on his bed. Well, that's just disgusting. What a prize she is. The petition continues. As Amber Heard is a known and proven domestic abuser, Warner Brothers and DC Entertainment should and must remove Heard from their Aquaman 2 film project. They must not ignore the suffering of Heard's victims and must not glamorize a domestic abuser. Well, seeing as you basically have a taped confession, it's pretty hard to argue that this isn't the case. Men are victims of domestic abuse just like women. Yes, they are. It's completely unacceptable for men to do it, and it's completely unacceptable for women to do it. This must be recognized. Might be hard in a society that hates men. And action must be taken to prevent a known abuser from being celebrated within the entertainment industry. Turn the genders around, and I assure you, nobody would be celebrated. And do the right thing. Remove Amber Heard from Aquaman 2. I tend to agree. Anybody, male or female, who acts in this way should never be rewarded. Again, this case is different because they basically have a taped confession. Audio obtained by the Daily Mail depicts a tense conversation between Depp and Heard. She admits to snapping and throwing pots and pans and vases at her ex-husband. Just because I've thrown pots and pans does not mean that you cannot come and knock on my door, she says. To be clear, we need to support due process, but this taped confession speaks volumes. Heard also compares herself to an animal being poked and lashing out. Well, she does act like an animal. I did not start screaming until you had fucked all the shit. You poke an animal enough, it doesn't matter how friendly it is, it's not cool. You don't really sound very friendly to me. In an update a month ago, Larson pointed out photos of Heard in Hawaii showing off a medical boot the actress was putting her full weight on and wearing a heeled shoe with. Larson believes it's a stunt by Heard to divert attention away from her lying about Depp's abuse and gain possession of his condo. That's pathetic, man. Larson's petition was started in March of 2019, around the same time as Depp filed a $50 million defamation suit against Heard as a result of an op-ed she wrote in the Washington Post. And given that it was 2019, I'm sure everybody took her side without question. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard were married until 2017. The two have been battling it out in court ever since. It seems she was doing physical battle before that. So far, there's no sign of Warner Brothers or Aquaman's producers, including director James Wan, are considering dismissal of Heard from Aquaman 2 over the legal disputes or the petition. I guess what applies to one gender doesn't apply to the other. Now, to be clear, this is still before the courts, but many men have been cancelled without a shred of evidence. In this case, we have a very clear audio recording. Aquaman 2 is slated for production in 2021 and a release in December 2022. Well, Warner, considering you have a likely disaster on your hands with Birds of Prey, can you really afford another one? Just asking. I'm not telling anyone what to do here. You need to make up your own minds as to whether or not you're going to sign the petition. But I think this is a story worth covering. And that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe and check your subscription and notification status, because YouTube is being shady on these things lately, and follow me on Twitter. And as always, everyone, thank you for watching, and have a great day.